I did want to get into some 2K.
You 2K?
Yeah. We got to talk about 2K, man. So there was a big announcement, and I know it's a little bit of a pivot. There was a big announcement, though. Shout out to all of our friends over the 2K community. They are holding their head low right now. The 2K League is no more. Yeah, shocker.
The Keeping a Buck League's done?
So apparently they hired a new CEO, and I sat in on a space with Kobe and them. So I'll give a lot of the information and context here. They sat in on a new phone call with the CEO, 10-minute conversation where he basically said that the league is over. We're putting everything on standstill. When we come back, things are going to look totally different. They want to go digital. They want to go with the brand, of course. They want to go just a different route totally. The way that they are planning on coming back supposedly is with a NBA player, an influencer, being a content creator or a rapper, and then a 2K League player. That is the way that they're going. But a lot of people have been displaced. I know a lot of people have problems with 2K.
Wait, what do you mean by rapper? Can you just expand on that real quick? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I got it. Let me write your clips up next time, man. A rapper or a content creator. So Kai Cenat, apparently there was a leak. I think it was a fake leak of who they want first to contact. Kai Cenat, Jaime Jaquez, and James Matherson, the #1 2K player in the world, will be on a team. And then on the other team will be Bruce Dropomoff, James Peterson, the second-ranked 2K player in the nation, and Paolo Banchero. And that's how they're going to roll it out. Or Huncho, the rapper.
That's the 2K League. Is like a three.
That's what they're coming back. That's what they're going to come back with. Some combination of something like that.
On 3v3s now?
3v3s, 4v4s, but it's going to be a combination of something similar to what I'm describing here. Just to give a little bit more backstory, I don't know if y'all knew this. On 2K, for the 2K League, they have a different build. It's a whole different game. If you play on the pro circuit, it's a different game than what we play on the retail side. And we on the retail side have no access to it. You can't create content. I know a lot of people were saying that they should create content about what's going on in the 2K League, some of the NBA players that they're interacting with, but they can't even do that. And now these people who are pro players are without job. Bezos, I know you talked about it, but what's going on over at 2K?
Yeah, I reacted to their press conference announcement on their 2K website, and it was a bunch of vague company corporate talk. We're going in a new direction, led by the use of social media and all of this. Like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Someone put it in Chat GPT, and that shit said it was 100% written by AI. So I don't know what's going on. As far as 2K, I just feel really bad because you did mention it. Essentially, they did a 180 overnight. 180 overnight. Fired everyone that was working on the 2K League, fired all of the 2K players. And I just feel really bad because, you might look at it and say, hey, man, that's on you for, betting on the 2K League to be your career and pay your bills. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of jobs are lost. I'm pretty sure there's at the very least 5 players on every single 2K League team. I looked it up. They were making $38K, $35K. So it already wasn't even like that crazy, but they did have their board, their like housing taken care of. I'm pretty sure they had their food taken care of. They also had to relocate to the team they were drafted to. So let's say you're from, I don't know, you're from Indiana, and you get drafted by the Celtics. Now you got to move to Boston. So that whole situation, they get fired. Now they gotta scramble without like a short notice too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even like, all right, this is gonna be our plan 6, 7, 8 months down the line. This is figure it out in 2 months. Figure it out in 3 months, which is unfair. Like, that's a bad situation to put someone in. You know what I'm saying? So it's just bad all around. I know me and Damo had a discussion on 2K, not on 2K, on Twitter, in regards to, hey, I think they fucked up from the beginning in terms of how they set up the 2K League and that whole conversation. But in terms of the firing, that was a dick move, bro. That was a mismanagement by the CEO of the 2K League, or the former CEO of the 2K League, whatever happened.
35K a year is what they make. 35K a year is what they make. I don't think it's a mismanagement. I think he actually came in and did exactly what he was hired to do. But that's different conversation. Damo, where did 2K go wrong?
Limiting their players to just being players. That's where they went wrong at first. Not allowing guys to have personalities or be personalities. The direction they tried to go in wasn't wrong, which is, again, So's alluded to me and him having a conversation on the timeline. The direction they went in wasn't wrong. My player probably was the best way to go in terms of if you're trying to do a esports route. That was probably the best way to go about it. That was the right direction to go. They just went about it the wrong way. They handled it wrong. They definitely mismanaged how they were operating with the league and everything. In terms of, definitely feels unfair for them to cut the guys as quickly as they did. This league's been going on for since 2K18. So however many years that is, 6 years,
Yeah.
around there, something like that. 6-7 years, something like that. For anybody with the standpoint of that's on them for not thinking 3 steps ahead. You just banked on this esports thing. Well, yeah, when you look around at all the other esports leagues shutting down is not a normal thing to happen. Typically, there's some level of job security when it comes to the level of your play. If you're good, you're pretty stable. I mean, you just got to win. You got to do the work. As long as you're putting the work in, the benefits will come. It's never a situation. And I've asked around the timeline, and I've asked people who are in the esports in other areas and other types of esports, is that normal for a whole in Dota? Have there been Dota leagues, whatever it is, that just shut down? I'm definitely I'm a little tapped into COD esports. That's not something with Call of Duty. That niggas just shutting down leagues and tournaments overnight. That's not a normal thing when it comes to esports. So for 2K to do that, I mean, I feel like that definitely did blindside everybody, not just the players, the workers, and everything like that. But this just goes to show 2K has been on the downslide for some time, and there are major changes that need to happen now with these players or whoever supposed to be, however they're supposed to come back and doing it, where whether it's celebrity mixed with 2K personalities mixed with streamers. I mean, me personally, and maybe this is my hot take, if you're not gonna allow niggas to do content, as long as you're getting athletes, celebrities, and personalities that are good at 2K, I don't know why it would be a problem. Now, it's one thing if they try to do the thing how they did a couple years ago, where they had Paul George and Kevin Garnett doing the first crossover park game. I don't know if people remember that, but they had the first ever crossplay park game. It was like Cash, PG, KG, just another creator it was at the time. But Kevin Garnett ain't know how to play 2K. He got on there trying to play like real basketball. He was like, don't give up the layup, young blood. Going to the rim, giving up threes. He didn't know what he was doing. If you got players like that and you're trying to pass it off just because they got a name as this being a new league, yeah, no, that's whack, gang. But if LaMelo Ball out there, I'm all for the change as long as they're bringing in personalities, athletes, rappers, whoever it is, that actually play, care, or are good at 2K. Don't bring on people just for name value sake, and they're sitting out there standing in the corner being Tony Snell. Having 0 points, by the way. Having all zeros. That's what I mean about Tony Snell.
That was crazy, gang.
The 2K League was designed to fail. And
say, please. Let me. I got it. You can't. I can't let Damo slide on some of the things he said.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I gotta go. Friend of the show, Kobe. I talked to Kobe on the day that the news was announced. This was probably 4 to 5 minutes after he got on the call or got off the call. And also talked to Dom 2K. Yeah, that doesn't work. The content creators and players, even if they are good at 2K, that just doesn't work. They've done that before. They've had Tyrese Maxey or whoever else host events at every single NBA event for the past 3-4 years or whatever the case may be. They've had that. It does not work. They've had serious competitions between the Cash Nasties or whoever other pro players. They've done that mix. It doesn't work. People don't care. One of the things that Kobe brought up, and I think we haven't really touched on, that is really big, that I thought was huge, was that the game is not the same. I don't care if visually I think we're playing the same thing. Like visually, I think I'm playing the same thing as the pro players, and this pro player is getting his ass busted. And when I go in and I try to load into the game, and I can do what he can't do, it doesn't resonate the same. I understood what Kobe was saying there. I think that's like number one problem. If you aren't gonna put these people on the same playing field to let them know, hey, what they're doing is an impressive feat, it'll never matter. It'll never really matter. I know what LeBron.
Are you
does.
talking about because the game mode's different? Like
Yeah, the build is different. The shot. He
I
told
agree.
us the green meter was in half or whatever the case may be. I know what LeBron James does is impressive when he does a 360 windmill tomahawk between the legs dunk, because I can go out there with a basketball and stand underneath the 10-foot rim and attempt the same thing. When I fail at that, I understand how big it is. But especially like Kobe was saying, when they go out there, and even if Jordan Peterson is the best 2K player in the world, if I see him do that and then I go home and try to do the same thing, but it's on an easier thing, it's on an easier build, I'm gonna feel like I can bust his ass. If I don't understand why it's so spectacular. That's why trick shotting was so good back in the day when COD 4 and COD Modern Warfare 2 and all that shit, when that was popping, is because we were playing the same thing and I was trying to replicate it and I could not pull it off. So it felt like it was straight. I hate to be that guy. The people that were banking on specifically 2K Esports from the player creator's perspective, you should have been securing yourself much better. But going into that, I would have thought that it was never a long-term play. That's just me though.
So what do you disagree with? What did you have to get off because I said I was wrong? I'm confused.
You were saying I'm all for the rapper influencer thing. I'm telling you that's not gonna fix it. That nobody cares if LaMelo Ball is
But that's what they're doing. I'm not saying they should. If that's what they're going to do, it's just okay. Either you like it or you don't. How the hell am I wrong for? I guess I'll see what it's like. I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm not saying that's going to work or not work. I'm just saying if you going to do it, I would hope it's this way. But how the hell am I wrong for saying that?
Mm-hmm. And also not blaming the creators. I'm always gonna blame the creators. So
You talking about the league players? Is that who you're referring to?
yeah.
I mean, I think it is a risk to put a lot of bank and a lot of like your eggs into an inaugural esports league. Like this isn't something proven. You know, you are coming in the first 3 to 4 years of a league. Like imagine doing that for the NBA, like banking on that. You know what I'm saying? You talk about it back in the day. A lot of those guys were part-time milkmen, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, when it comes to this conversation, there's a little bit of a different tone, but at the end of the day, that's a lot of income to lose though. Like I still think so. Yeah. But to have the contingencies plan, like I agree with you. If you can set yourself up to be safer, you know, that would be preferred. But also on your point of the barrier to entry, because I know again, me and Damo, we had the conversation on Twitter. I think that's my overarching point. Is if my player is the game mode, that's fine. Like I'll even concede. But I think the bigger problem is the barrier to entry and the difference between 2K and other esports, other video games, is the fact that when you watch people play Valorant, like competitive Valorant, I can load into the same game mode, same rules and everything, and the only difference is, they are much more accurate than me. They know how to use the skills and know the map, how to time shit better than me. But in 2K, because of the fact that the base game that they play at the pro level is completely different, that relatability factor, outside of it being a 2K game and me knowing the rules of basketball, is completely different. So
the 2K League was designed to fail for two very, very, very obvious reasons. One, the culture in games like 2K, Madden, even Call of Duty, but Call of Duty, it's a much less of an issue, is that you can watch these 2K League players and be like, what? you can genuinely watch some of these guys and be like, I think Steezo would win. I ain't gonna lie, Flight's an idiot, but Flight might win. Like it's literally the fact that a lot of people would just challenge on 2K, and maybe it's a community issue. Maybe these things shouldn't be true, and maybe these things are like a falsified logic in the community. But one for certain, the reason it's designed to fail is the people that are selected and the way that it's brought about it's not even necessarily something that's portrayed as, oh yeah, these guys are infinitely better than most of you guys that play the game, because they end up not doing the wildest shit. They're just more organized hoops. And granted, organized hoops will win you like 80% of 2K games. Two, in something that nobody's brought up, I ain't gonna lie, gang, you launched the wrong year. And it was over since then. With 2K League was, I think, founded, started, or whatever in 2017, but it launched the year 2K18 was being played. For those who forgot, and I don't care about your nostalgia takes, I don't care about I was a dog at it, I don't care about any of that. For those that forgot, when the 2K League was so new, so hyped, it was trending, what did we see? What was the first hyped up thing? And Damo, you probably were the main one playing 2K outside of me on here. We saw niggas in the 2K League spamming snatchbacks. It was literally looked at as a what the fuck is going on since day one. It launched on arguably, and by many, including myself, the worst 2K, but also in like an exploitative way. We saw two people, I forgot their names, so I'm not going to name drop them, but I think there was a literal game where the point guard just snatched back and soloed, and everybody else stood in the corner in case the entire team jumped and tried to contest the shot. That's how memeably bad it was. They've never recovered since then. They've never addressed the fact that, hey, we got to bring in guys that are like doing shit on the game where it's like, okay, yeah, you can't beat them. And especially considering the community believes that dribbling's the name of the game. So you didn't do a good job marketing your players. You didn't do a good job of really hiring your talent. And you especially didn't do a good job of marketing the games and showing that it isn't just which team can exploit the flaws in the game better, let alone is 2K a very flawed game. The 2K League was a good design to fail regardless.
They should have, if I'm not mistaken, that's the year that everybody keeps attributing to like the content creators going out on it. That's another primary point. They never listened to the content creators from back in the day about what was going on with 2K. Like the two foundational points to me, well, two foundational points being the game not being the same, so people don't understand what they're looking at, and the fact that when people were saying that there were things wrong with it, there were content creators that they should have embraced. Personally, and it's funny because they're backtracking now. I think a 2K League with some of their favorite like Tycinos and Joe Knows and agents and stuff like that would have looked better, and they could have gotten on the ground floor, and I think they would have been better. But ultimately, this might be my hot take of the week. Esports in the US is like a failure.
I was thinking about that. Is there like a cultural difference between esports in like Asian countries versus Western countries, specifically the US? So
esports in the US is a failure compared to what they were saying. And this was when football was going through a little spell of like a membership attendance and all this. Like people, I'm talking about people joining like youth football leagues in America was down, and people were projecting, oh, esports is going to take over football. Yeah, that was stupid. I was so stupid to even think of the even seeing the actual money in esports isn't really even there yet. Ultimately, the place to be is being like a person when it comes to any online presence, no matter what, over anything. You never want to be controlled by the one thing, especially when it's something that you can't control. If you're a personality for the news, you can at least say that the news is going to change every year. But being subjected to a singular video game is like the stupidest thing in the world. They could just take the video game away. They took live away. And not that there were any, but what do y'all think happened to all the live creators back in the day? They just flipped over to 2K.
That's what Flight did.